Happy Sunday, ladies and gents. Episode 76 of the weekly comic wrap up. Thank you for coming to hang out tonight. It's football playoffs, 9 p.m. Eastern time. I hope there's no kids up watching this. I hope you're catching the replay, or actually, I don't think kids should be watching, to be honest. But either way, I appreciate you guys all coming to hang out. Few things before we get into the show, of course. We have a lot to talk about. We're going to go through the FOC picks of the week, the market report, the hot topics. Market report, I want to give you guys a heads up. 15 books on the list tonight. 12 of the 15 are Baker Shakers. So just so you know, we are going completely all around, touching on, CBSI. We're going to touch on Covrprice, but Baker Shakers. The Baker Shakers were absolute fire tonight. And I will tell you guys in advance, it's probably the most informative one. I was looking at some of these books. Didn't even know they existed, so I'm excited to dive into those. But I want to give you guys a few little announcements regarding the channel. So I know every week we go through the roll call. I say hi to everybody individually in the chat, and I love you guys. I really do. I appreciate everybody who comes by, but I brought something up in 2024, how I wanted to also take this show to new levels. And one way of doing that is hopping into the podcast form. So I'm preparing to launch on Spotify as well, which means that this particular episode that goes live every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern time, is going to be available the following morning on Spotify. So in order to do that, I don't think people want to hear me saying hi to everybody individually, but I see you, and I will bring up your comments as we go through the show every single week, of course. You guys are here. You make me laugh. Derek, I see you in the chat. Yes, Lando knows Doom, baby. He does know Doom and many other things, but I appreciate you guys all. So I will continue to say hi up until we're ready to shift gears and have this available also on podcast form. But that's not it, guys. I got a surprise for you. Well, Michael Baker does, because we're giving away something tonight. That's right. We're giving away not one, but 2 slabs on what I consider to be the more important books here when it comes to the Ultimate Universe. So if you guys are loving Ultimate Spidey, well, there you go. You get his first appearance, the second print right there on the right-hand side of Ultimate Invasion #1, CGC 98, and Michael Baker is also giving you guys the free comic book day Spider-Man Ultimate Universe in a CGC 98. Look at that special label right there, free comic book day. So tonight, guys, surprise, like I told you, I'm not using this to reel in subscribers. What I'm really doing is trying to give back to those who show up every single week. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for swinging by every week, supporting, showing some love. Tonight, you guys have a chance to win this. So stick around. I'll let you know how to do so. Now, let's bring in tonight's guest. Yes, somebody I speak to now on the daily. Even when I told Matt from Covrprice, yeah, I love Travis. I speak to him daily. He's like, oh, daily, really, eh? So I don't know if there was jealousy there, but regardless, Travis is not just an awesome dude. He's a musician like me. He's a comic collector. He's a shop owner. He's a nerd. He's a stud. What's going on, Travis?
What's going on?
Not much, man. Dude, like I said, it's playoffs, football Sunday. I know, we watch football religiously, but Packers got eliminated. Panthers never had a chance.
Never got a chance to dance.
Never got a chance. So I think we're pretty much, free on Sundays. It works. It works. We can hang out tonight.
For sure.
Yeah, but Travis, I want to tell the people a little more about you. You've been busy. You work nonstop. You've got a shop, right?
Yep.
So you're grinding on that front, but you also write articles for Covrprice.
Yep.
Some people probably didn't know that. And what you do is, the Shakers report. You write up some of the information that's there that we were reading. Well, I say we're reading because I'm not on the Shakers, but where the gang reads, some of the information. And it's crazy because I always wonder sometimes, how do you know so much information, dude? I think it makes sense. You own a shop. You're reading all day long. That's what's going on, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's that. You just got we get some time to research, so it's nice. We can build up a little bit info before we put those things out, so it's nice. But yeah, no, it's a blast. Writing for Covrprice has just been so much fun. It's something I never actually thought I would do. I never thought I'd be writing a weekly article for anything, but it's awesome. It's so much fun.
Yeah, no, dude, it's look, you're doing it on that front. I'm over with the crew going live every Tuesday now before Thursdays on the Shakers, but you know, it's a crazy wheel how it works. Like example, tonight we're gonna go through the FOC picks of Lefteros. Lefteros also doing articles for Cover Price. He's grinding nonstop working when it comes to doing such, doing the research, doing the hard work. So I really appreciate everything Lefteros does. Guys, he doesn't do this for pretty much anything other than putting out the information for all of us. We're blessed to have such great people and platforms that exist. And shout out to all the other platforms that exist as well. I know people feel a certain way about each other platform. I don't care, man. As long as it's non-biased, informative, I'm happy with it. And yeah, man, they put in the Lord's work for us comic geeks, collectors, and nerds. So thank you. But besides that, I said you play music. I play music. That's one thing we share a lot in common. But you also have a YouTube channel. You just kicked off a YouTube channel, so you're going from one extreme of staying behind the scenes and writing the articles to now putting your own YouTube channel. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so me and one of my longtime friends, Phil, decided we were really kind of excited when the Absolute Universe stuff dropped, and we were like, hey, let's just throw together like a just a podcast, and we'll just cover it. Good, bad, ugly, doesn't matter. If it goes down, if it goes in the tank, it goes in the tank. We'll still talk about it, and I think that I really do. I've been so excited about it, and so yeah, it's over on our YouTube channel. It's Trek Wars Comics, and we go live every week, or not live. We drop a new episode every week on Tuesdays, and it also is on Spotify for anybody that prefers to listen like on their way into work or anything like that. It's on Spotify. You just got to search the local comic podcast. But yeah, it's fun, man. We cover all the new releases for the week. We cover upcoming release schedules, plus any news that happens, any news that drops from that's even remotely related to the Absolute Universe. We're talking about that, and yeah, it's cool. We're actually doing some giveaways over there too. This week, actually. So we'll be giving away a signed DC All-In special by Scott Snyder. Got the COA and all that good stuff. Right here, actually.
Show it. Let's see it. Put it up in big. So
there we go.
This was signed by Snyder over at Midtown.
Yeah, it was. Yep. And yep, all signed, all good to go. We're going to be giving that away this week probably. So we're going to post that up on our Instagram. It's at Trek Wars Comics. And then for subscriber giveaway, we're going to be doing 50 subscribers to the channel. We're going to give away the Absolute Superman #1 Jim Lee variant. So they're all kind of Absolute themed and pretty cool. So trying to stick with the theme of the channel.
That's wicked. So that is massive. So you guys in the chat, those of you catching the replay, you just heard what TJ had to say. Subscribe to the channel. I actually put it in the description of the video, so show some love. If you guys want a chance to win, there you go. You have the opportunity to do so. So subscribe to the channel. It's in the description. Show some love. And you know what? You guys have great conversations. I'm not just trying to, pump your channel, whatever. I appreciate the giveaway. If I don't win, I'll be pissed. I'm going to let you know. But it's great. It's great conversations. I think you guys go, back and forth very well. You feed off each other very well. It's very informative, and you stuck with Absolute Universe for, let's say, the first 2 episodes, but now you guys are bringing forth a lot more stuff. You're expanding, talking other things. So yeah, I look forward to seeing the growth continue. And yeah, man, it's like I said, it's fun to see you from behind the scenes now at the forefront. So I like it. This is awesome.
Yeah, honestly, though, I never would have probably done it had I not been on here the first time. And I was like, hey, maybe we should, because my buddy had mentioned it, and I was like, I don't know if I'm fit for that or good for that. And so yeah, it was cool. It's kind of funny how everything worked out.
Yeah. Now, chat, I gave it a test run. I didn't say hi to any of you. I highlighted your comments. But yes, that's what it's going to feel like. So I see you all. I see my wife. I love you for life. Thank you so much for being here. Joffrey, I see you. Derek, I see you. Michael Baker, I see you. JD's in the house. Yes, from Covrprice to here. Appreciate you coming to swing by and hang out tonight. Brother Lefteros is in the house. You got JSS Brooklyn. You got Chia Pet, TKO Collectibles. Everybody's showing up, showing some love. You got Bridazzle. What's going on, man? I appreciate you being here. Got my Paisan Comic Ozzy, who's here as well. Guys, Comic Ozzy actually just sold his 10,000th book over on Whatnot. So he's going to be doing a massive show. Ozzy, let the people know. I think you're going live on Tuesday, or is it on Thursday this week? I can't remember, but yes, show some love. Show some love. Comic Ozzy is absolutely crushing it. JSS Brooklyn is in the house. I'm apparently hitting 700 subscribers, so that's awesome. Thank you guys so much. Nothing but love, man. Appreciate you all. You got Tim in the house. Tim, how's it going, man? Appreciate you being here as well. I always love seeing Tim here. You got Ben, who's here from Nova Scotia, bro. Appreciate you. Yes, I know which Ben this is, so thank you so much for swinging by. All right, guys, let's get into the show. Like I said, I'm going to put it up one more time in case you missed it. There's a giveaway tonight. It could happen at any point within the night, so stick around. It's going to require a hashtag. You're going to have to put it in the comment section here, and we'll gather all of the comments, and then we'll do the giveaway. All right, so thank you, Michael Baker, for these. You're nuts. This guy's always giving stuff away, contributing to the channel. He's also part of the show because he's part of the market report. But before we get into the market report, Travis, we're going to get into the FOC selections of the week, sir. Are you ready for that?
Born ready. Let's go.
Vamos. All right, guys, FOC selections of the week. Now, of course, my logo is blocking the screen, so let's remove that. And we're going to talk about the selections by our brother Left Arrows for the week of January 13. Now, before we get into the picks, guys, if you're in the United States, well, you can visit Comic Nation to get yourself any of these books you like. You're going to have 15% off on the cover price, but you can get an additional 5% off by using discount code Black Crown. So go visit comicnation.us, and if you're within Canada, well, go visit comiclegion.ca. You already have 20% off of the cover price, but you can get an additional 5% off if it's your first order by using discount code ENLIST. Now, Chia Pet, I apologize. I'm putting up the disclaimer. Nobody's telling you to buy all of these books. Whether you want to speculate or not, that's on you. But please just purchase whatever you think you like. So there shouldn't be an issue at that point. So we're going to kick it off with the first book. Travis, I love this. It's Magic issue number 2. Here's the main cover. Again, issue number 1 just came out last week. What was it? On Wednesday. And there was a J. Scott Campbell cover as well. Here, issue number 2, we're getting another one. I actually really like this, but the book's apparently going to have the first appearance of the Sonic Demon.
Yeah, I actually like this cover better than the first one. Honestly, yeah, it's pretty killer. I mean, I'm kind of I'm very kind of like picky with my J. Scott Campbell covers, but this is one of my ones I've liked more in the last little bit.
Yeah, no, same. I didn't get the opportunity to read the issue yet, so I'm still going to pick this up just based on the cover alone. Love J. Scott Campbell art. I love his stuff, but I'm happy to see Magic. Magic's getting a lot of love, man, especially with Rivals, right?
Yeah.
It's like this timing of this book couldn't have been more perfect with the launch of Rivals.
It's amazing how they've timed a lot of this up to kind of coincide with the game. I don't know if it's intentional. You'd assume at some point it is, but yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yep. So that's the first book on the list for tonight, but let's keep it going because up next we have Psylocke issue number 4. This is the main cover. First appearance of the Taxonomist. So sure. Again, Psylocke is a series I've not been keeping up with at all. I'm paying absolutely no attention to it, but I will say Azrar puts together a beautiful cover here. I love this, the whole butterfly stuff going on at the front. Very neat cover. Very neat.
Yeah, it's actually, I was thinking the same thing. I actually haven't read any of these issues so far, but this is a really killer cover. And yeah, it's actually funny. I don't remember seeing anything by Azrar recently. I think I've just missed a lot of them, but this is great. I mean, I just love the whole butterfly thing. It just looks sick. It's awesome.
Yeah, gorgeous cover. I don't hear many people talking about the Psylocke run so far. We're at issue 4. Not many people talking too much about it, but I see Eddie here in the chat, so I appreciate you, Eddie, saying Psylocke is not too shabby. It's a decent read, so I might be slacking. I might have to, start going back to read these. Alex saying he wants a Magic and Psylocke sandwich. I don't disagree with that one at all. But anyways, let's keep it rolling because New Champions number 2 is on FOC this week. Here we have the main cover. likely the first full appearance of Monte and Magnetrix, possibly the first full appearances of other new champions as well. Now, I know a lot of people are going back to trying to scoop up the issue number 1. And I don't blame them. There was what was it that I forget who did the cover of that. Is like you see like the whole team. It's kind of like purplish in the background. Beautiful cover. I forgot who did it, but yeah, the new champions. All these characters we've been seeing for quite some time now, right? We've been seeing a lot of these characters on certain covers, etc. So the new champions team has finally arrived. We're looking at possibly seeing more characters arriving in issue 2. I think it's a no-brainer. Buy in now while it's at its lowest. I'm not saying it's worthy of a spec. It might pop off. You never know. But it's still a good book to have.
Yeah, and I've heard that the first issue was pretty good overall. So, I mean, buy it for the read. You know what I mean? If not just because of the first appearances or anything like that. I think Chia said that, Marvel's probably going to push these characters, and I would think so because it is getting some pop, just in conversation from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, not only is there this cover, of course, we're going to see the 1 in 100 incentive here by Derek Chu. This is insane. I know a lot of people are loving the character Phantasma, who you can see here at the forefront. I think of all the characters that we're seeing when it comes to these new champions, etc., some of these new characters who have been introduced on the cover right here, we're seeing, I would say 2.5 characters people tend to care about a lot more. So
yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, that's an awesome cover. That's so good. Derek Chu, it always seems to deliver. I mean, truly, that's great.
Yeah, exactly. Now, to keep it going, Scotty Young has come out with numerous covers when it comes to the death of Spider-Man. And we're coming to a close on those Scotty Young covers. Here we have Amazing Spider-Man issue 67, the Scotty Young variant, and it's Spider-Man and Venom Frog cover depiction by Scotty Young, of course. I love this cover. There's so many great ones that Scotty Young came out with. The one with the shoe stepping down on Spider-Man. Then you have the one of him in the jar. There's just so many cool covers. Scotty Young is a hit, man. People love Scotty Young. Scotty Young fans are wild. Like I've said in previous episodes, I was at Terrificon, and man, Jim Lee was there. Don't get me wrong. Jim Lee had a huge line. Claremont had a huge line. But people went up to Scotty Young's booth stacked with books, man. They were bringing short boxes, long boxes, getting them signed like there was no tomorrow. I think he was only charging like $10 US. So that was holding the line like crazy. Scotty Young covers. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, my local con is Heroes Con down here in Charlotte, and
oh, nice. That's soon.
Yeah, it's in June. It's in June, so we got a few months to go. But yeah, but it's one of the best cons. It's one of my favorite cons to go to. I say best; it's all subjective, but it's one of my favorite cons to go to. It's so creator oriented, and it was funny that you mentioned names like Claremont and all that. Those lines were long, but the two longest lines there were Scotty Young and Jenny Frison. Those were the hands down the two longest lines. I actually took a book for Frison to sign, and I saw the line. I was like, well, maybe we'll catch her another day.
Yeah, dude, it's insane. Like I remember even Chiapet, who's here in the chat. Shout out to Chiapet. He had given me a ton of books to get signed at Terrificon, and like already, I'm not a fan of waiting lines. Like if I'm at a con, I want to have fun, right? Like I want to do my thing,
right?
So I try to slip in wherever I could, and luckily, thank God, I would have a friend here and there in a line. I'd be like, yo, here. I just like throw a random book and be like, just get this one signed or whatever.
Right.
But it was tough, man. It was very tough. These conventions, dude, especially for artists as such, like Scotty Young and some of the others that we mentioned, Claremont, etc. Man, you are waiting. You are waiting. I've never seen Frison at a con, but I could imagine the line being enormous, and most of it being hogged up by probably Laura, Miss Bird City.
It was bonkers. I literally walked over to her side of the convention center, and I was like, "Where is this line going?" And I just kind of looked all the way down there, and I saw Jenny over there signing stuff, and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. I'm gonna get that signed at the next con. I'm good."
Yeah, exactly. We'll just wait, hopefully for another one.
Yeah.
For another one. But yeah, I guess that's what those CGC in-house signings are beneficial for, right? You don't gotta wait
Yeah.
no lines. You pay a premium, but you don't have to wait the line. Yep. But anyways, let's keep it rolling because up next we have Marvel Mutts #1, the Zulo variant. Zulo covers are also amazing. I love Zulo. She did some great stuff just recently at DC with the winter covers, last year with the Halloween stuff. Now here, Marvel Mutts and Spider-Man cover depiction by Zulo is wonderful. Everybody loves pets. I don't know how it transcends sometimes within such of titles. I'm gonna pick it up. You know what I mean? Marvel Mutts can't go wrong. You got Lockjaw right there. It's gonna be a good time. Cosmos holding an ace at the bottom. It looks like right in his foot. But I like this poker playing concept that Zulo put together for this cover. It's really neat.
Is that the Doctor Strange's ghost dog too? I
Yes,
can't
sir.
remember. I can't remember the name now. It's completely blanked on me.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Chrissy Zulo's like within the last 6 months just become one of my absolute favorites. It's like a must grab if I see her art. It's so like I think we've talked about this before. Like really great artists, they get that kind of they hit their stride, like they hit their rhythm, and they kind of really lock into what kind of defines them. And bam, Chia Pet right there. It's
Yeah.
just she's found her groove, and it's awesome. It's really, really, really great. It's so unique and cool.
It kind of reminds me of when Trish Forstner found hers, right? With Stray Dogs, etc. Obviously, she was tied to that title and put out tons of bangers. But even after the fact, like she's put out so much great stuff. I love Trish, man. She does great work. There was even the Bird City. Yeah, we just mentioned Bird City. That exclusive took off, man. For 8 billion genies. Remember that? That was
Yep.
wild,
Yep.
wild.
Crazy.
Yeah, but Zulo, wonderful cover. I love this. This is a cover pickup for myself as well. You throw a poker table downstairs in the basement. You got this on display. I think it's gonna look cool. But
Absolutely.
anyways, let's get into some other stuff, some indie stuff. Stranger Things and Dungeons and Dragons: The Rise of Hellfire #1. This is the cover B. Dungeons and Dragons homage variant cover by Kyle Lambert. This is a neat cover. I don't know about you guys, but I see Johnny Storm on this cover over here. This is who's playing Johnny Storm. This is who's playing Johnny Storm, dude. But look, to each their own. I enjoyed Stranger Things season 1. After that, I fell off, dude. I completely fell off. Now,
Really?
Dungeons and Dragons is a whole other ball game. That is a whole other ball game. Fans of Dungeons and Dragons, like there's Spawn fans, and then there's that. That's a
Yeah,
whole other ball
it's
game.
a whole different ball. It's a whole different can of worms for sure.
Yeah, but very neat cover.
Yeah, this is great. I love the kind of distressed old style look on it too. It's great and nice to see a Dark Horse book pop up here every now and then. It's really cool.
Yeah, I love how Michael Schwartz. Shout out to Michael Schwartz, guys. If you haven't read Armored, please go read his title. It's so good. What he's saying, first appearance of MCU Johnny Storm. I don't know. Has he appeared in other comics? I'm not too sure. I don't really follow, but yeah, as everyone's saying in the chat, I gotta get caught up. Michael Baker, thank you for the suggestion. Sam Al's in the house, so I appreciate Sam being here. Anthony's saying he enjoyed every season, but season 1 was the best. But great show overall. Yeah, I guess I gotta get back into it. I guess.
Yeah,
Man.
I think we got to 3. We haven't caught up totally yet on 4, but yeah, it's definitely worth sticking with. It's so much fun.
Yeah, but beautiful cover. I love this. Very feels very vintage. I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for these homage covers. But again, I'm not the biggest Stranger Things fan, so for myself, it's probably a pass. But to each their own. To each their own. Now, Sam Wilson, Captain America, issue #2. This is one thing I want to mention is if you saw what happened with the 1 in 100, dude, for issue 1, that exploded. The 1 in 100 that had Anthony Mackie, you had obviously Red Hulk at the forefront, Virgin, dude, that 1 in 100 exploded, going for like 225 raw immediately after release. But these photo variants, I love these photo variants. They're such great books to have within your collection. If ever you have the opportunity to get them signed, dude, I was talking with Michael Baker over on Instagram because one of the Baker Shakers he had sent, it didn't make the list. Didn't make the list. Sorry, dude. Was Captain America First Avenger. It was the issue #2. And you have Captain America on that. Now, I came across that in the wild a few weeks ago, like just right before Christmas. And it was $2. It had a few spine ticks. I'm like, I'm gonna pass on this because of the spine ticks. All black cover, right? So it's kind of not so appealing when you see those spine ticks, especially when it's breaking such color. But $2, he sends me, a sale that took place just this week of that issue, signed by Chris Evans, $1,000 American, right, in a 9/8. So it's crazy. Now I know these signatures they're not cheap, guys. They're not cheap, especially if we're gonna get them signed at CGC in-house signings, etc. But you never know. Like Chris Evans was just at New York Comic Con a few years back, right? If you had the opportunity to get such a book signed, it's not a bad idea. So, you know, I've been picking up these photo variants. I don't know if you have. I even picked up the one of Aubrey Plaza. Yeah, man, I'm picking them all up.
Yeah, you got to. I started doing this. I started picking up these photo variants. I have a couple of these, but this all kind of started when I started getting Star Trek signatures, like signatures from the actors. They have so many photo variants, and they're dirt cheap. They're like $1 or $2, and I was like, these are perfect. So I started taking them to cons and getting them signed all the time.
Yeah.
And when they started doing these, I was like, well, I'm just going to do the same thing in case I ever run into them. So yeah, these are definite grabs, especially if you go to some of these more entertainment kind of geared cons where you're going to have TV and movie personalities. It's kind of like a must get if you're into these kind of things.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. Can't go wrong, man. It's perfect. And I don't want to pay for like a 8x10. No, here's my 8x10, bro.
Yeah.
Take this. Let's sign this. Let's slab it. Here we go, baby. Love these. Now, up next, we have Rocket Fellers #1, third printing, guys. Ghost Machine Universe. This is the first issue of an ongoing series about a family on the run through time. I loved the concept. I loved the read. I'm not saying this is worthy of speculation, etc. I do imagine this is probably going to be not so heavily ordered. People tend to get the fatigue bug on some indie titles as such for here. I think this is a neat pickup. It's a wonderful cover. I think Manipul did a great job on this. It's very simple. The colors pop on these characters. Third printing. I think I'm going to pick one up.
Yeah, I whenever we start getting into these later printings, I always just grab one if I can, just because they can, the total print numbers can be pretty low. I mean, you can actually get some decent books if you go to these later printings, so that's cool. I am absolutely kicking myself because I haven't read this one yet. I'm behind, and I haven't caught up on my Ghost Machine stuff in a couple weeks, so I've got to get into this one because this was one of the ones I was super excited about.
Unacceptable, Travis. But
I know.
Leftero's here saying that this book was also a late addition to FOC this week. So it could be that, some people, this slept on this and it probably goes under the radar. So yeah, not a bad pickup, man. I think this is definitely worthy of a pickup. Now, Doll Parts, a Lovesick Tale #1 is going to second printing. Again, this is not something that's totally up my alley, not something that even comes close to piquing my interest, but I know that others do enjoy this stuff. So if you want, you can pick up the second printing of this, which is the first issue of a series about the origin of Domino from Lovesick. Now, Lovesick was a pretty popular thing, dude. People really liked Lovesick. I couldn't get into it. I don't know what it was. It just it wasn't for me. But yeah, interesting to see this second print on FOC.
Yeah, it's one I never got into either. Love Vecchio, but yeah, just never jumped into the universe. And I know there's a pretty substantial following too. It's just one of those things I haven't kind of dipped my toe into yet.
Yeah. What's going on, Trev? Appreciate you being here. Trev, I'm not sure if you're going live 10 p.m. Eastern time, but in case he's not, guys, at least subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, show some love. But yeah, man, so Lovesick wasn't something I totally got into, but I see Alex here in the chat saying Lovesick was a crazy story.
Hear it all the time.
Another one that I just may have been slacking on. Leftero saying, I love Lovesick, not option potential. I'll leave it at that. So that means like it just might get a little crazy in this book. I'm all for this. Let's pick this up. I might give it a read now. That's for sure. All right, guys. Years later, I think exactly 2 to be exact. Fourth printing of It's Jeff #1 is on FOC this week. But not just that. We also have the second printing of It's Jeff, the Jeff-verse #1, which just came out. So that we're okay with. I think it makes a little more sense, but It's Jeff #1 goes to fourth printing like 2 years after its release. And man, I as much as I'm saying it the way I'm saying it, I'm totally picking one up because yeah, dude, the love for Jeff is totally there. I love Jeff. I love playing Marvel Rivals. I enjoy the character. I'm a sucker, dude. I'm being reeled into this.
Yeah, no, it's hard not to. I mean, it's really hard not to with Jeff. I mean, you want to talk about um, the absolute blow up since Rivals. This is it's all about Jeff. The world revolves around Jeff right now. And you know, I'm the exact same way. When I heard about the fourth printing, I was like, okay, that's all right, cool, getting
Yeah.
it, getting it. But okay, cool.
But you know, one thing I will say is that that third printing, look, it's getting love on the secondary market, that's for sure. But it went so under the radar, and like now with the fourth printing, this is gonna surpass that third printing beyond. Like I think everybody and anybody's probably gonna want to hop onto this. It's the Jeff verse #1 as well. Second printing, definitely people are gonna hop onto that. The first printing had some wonderful covers. I love It's Jeff #1. I have, a copy of almost each print in my collection, so might as well just add the fourth one. So, you can't go wrong. You can't go
Right.
wrong. I do agree with Samuel here in the chat who's saying he's disappointed they didn't go with new covers, but definitely picking them up. And I think that's one thing that I can't stand when it comes to, these covers such as Marvel, DC, etc. When they just color swap things, like example, the It's Jeff logo, it's kind of lazy. I really hate that.
Well, sometimes it gets you. I mean, sometimes there's just such a minute difference that you end up getting like I just said, you end up getting got. I mean, I think I had a Batman New 52 issue 5, and it was like a second or third printing, and I didn't even know it for like a couple of months. And I was early into collecting, so I wasn't really paying all that much attention, but I just didn't even realize it. And so yeah, I mean, it can be a little confusing, especially if you're just kind of starting out, because it's tough to know. I mean, we didn't have CLZ and all this other stuff to pop on and say which printing is this. It was a little bit different. So, but yeah.
Peter saying fifth print will be version of same cover. I really hope we don't go to a fifth printing, man, of It's Jeff. But yeah, this is pretty interesting to see, and no surprise with the success, of course, of Marvel Rivals. Now, up next, Absolute Superman issue #4. We said it earlier in the show. You have your own YouTube channel where you cover a lot of the Absolute universe, and I'm sure you're excited for Absolute Superman issue 4. Here's the cover A. It's bringing us the introduction of the Absolute Omega Men, which is really cool. I'm excited about that.
Oh yeah, this one's been so personally. This one started the slowest, I think, of the three. But after the last issue, this one has very quickly kind of ramped it up a little bit. Jason Aaron is definitely taking his time with this series, but it's worth it. He's really trying to get this new Kal-El backstory right. And yeah, without going into crazy detail, it's this one's been a lot of fun. They've all been a lot of fun. Like there's none of them have been bad so far, but this one has been a lot of fun because I think Aaron has a good grasp on what he wants to do.
Yeah, exactly. Now Alex is saying Absolute Superman is his favorite of the Absolute series so far. So that's very bold because I know a lot of people are favoring the Absolute Batman stuff. I think Absolute Wonder Woman's a great concept as well. I'm really loving that.
Yeah, it's killer. I mean, they've really flipped a lot of the Wonder Woman stuff on its head, just like the Batman stuff. And I'm kind of with Alex on this one. For the first 3 issues, well, for the first 2 issues, it was really Absolute Batman, and then Absolute Superman for me. But after this 3rd issue, it's been I couldn't help myself at the end of it being like, this is so well done. So
yeah. I'm loving it, but guys, if you're loving Absolute Superman 4, it doesn't end there because we have some awesome covers available as well. The cover C by Raza, very neat. It does feel a little too, I don't know, man. It looks like an advertisement for like some clothing store, right? Like it's like he looks so clean, so perfect. I like the ruffiness and the edginess on the other covers we've seen before. Raza killed it. It's a gorgeous cover.
yeah,
Absolutely gorgeous, but it's just I don't know, it's something about the hair flow. It's got like the Uncle Jesse thing going on.
This is your
What's
this is
going
your
on?
this is your Abercrombie and Fitch Superman cover right here.
Yeah,
It looks like
exactly.
an ad.
Yeah, man, you have the chat saying "Fruit of the Loom," so I love that. That's hilarious. I agree with Trev, man. I love Raza. His work is absolutely stunning. It's amazing. Yes, see, Michael Schwartz agrees. Uncle Jesse, totally, man. I see it. I'm happy you do as well. But another one is Talaski's cover. This is the 1 in 50 incentive. I think this cover is gorgeous. I know people are getting a little fatigued with the negative space stuff, etc., but I think this is very well done. You know, there's many artists out there. You got JTC, you've got Nakayama, who are notorious for doing such covers, but Talaski on this one, absolutely stunning. I love this. The orange.
Yeah, yeah. This is my favorite of the issue 4 covers, hands down, without a question.
Yeah, it's stunning. There you go, man. The chat saying they love some negative space. Talaski being underrated, left arrows. I can't help but agree, man. I think with this cover, like it's very obvious that that's the case. Like we need to see some more covers as such by Talaski. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Now, the event people are excited about is One World Under Doom. Here's the number one that is available on FOC this week. You have the main cover, and the One World Under Doom crossover is about to kick off. Yes, baby, let's go. It doesn't end here, guys, because this cover here by Ben Harvey is amazing. It's crazy to see everybody taking the knee to Doom right here, even Captain America. What the hell is going on? But anyways, I'm looking forward to this for the read sake. I just spoke of John Tyler Christopher, JTC. He's got a negative space cover as well. That's super neat. If you're a Doom fan, you're a fan of JTC stuff, you're definitely going to want to pick this one up. But the Crane variant, we need to talk about this because Doomasaur is on this. Clayton Cranes, I feel like he's been having fun with some of the stuff he's been doing lately, man. This is sick.
Yeah, no, you know what? We had Venom Horse earlier this year, or last year, I guess. At this point, I'm still adjusting, but he absolutely is. He's kind of getting in his bag with some of these, and it's pretty great. It's great to see. This is my favorite of the three. They're all great, though. I mean, they're all absolute gets, but this is my favorite of the three. I am so excited about this. Doom is probably my favorite Marvel character, and yeah, this has been something I've been looking forward to for a minute.
Yeah, I love how the chat is like, here we go, baby, book of the week, etc. But Leftero's dropping a little information saying that he read this and Doom picks up right where he left off after Blood Hunt. He's not playing. The world can finally have peace and prosperity. So I'm excited to see what he's talking about when it comes to this. One World Under Doom, guys. We also just had Time Slide that came out. You saw the Rob Liefeld cover getting some traction and love on the secondary market. Although I do think there's way better covers. No disrespect to Liefeld, it wasn't that nice of a cover. But within Time Slide, we saw the mention of this event. So things are starting to line up. I'm excited about it. Lots of fun things coming our way. But One World Under Doom #1 also has a 1 in 100 incentive by Rose Besh. Now, this is also available as a regular trade. Gorgeous cover. I think Besh really knocked it out of the park with this one. The colors pop. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably a trade grab for me.
Yeah.
I doubt I'll be able to get my hands on it at a 1 in 100 incentive, but yeah, I'm serious, man. This is like all of these covers have been like, yep, gotta have it, gotta have it, gotta have it. Like they're all, and this is, I mean, I'm not telling you to buy what you want, but for me, this is going right in the Doom box.
Yep. Agreed, man. Now you got Gabe saying he's iffy with this story. Might wait for the trade paperback, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing wrong with that. I'm kind of one of those people too, though. Like I love reading my comics weekly, but there's some series where I'm like, man, I need to read the full thing in one shot, right? Like you really want to read these arcs. And I did that back in the day with so many other titles, right? Especially catching up. How many times do we go in and out of comics sometimes, right? I know collectors have done so many times. And it's always fun to come back and be able to have that capacity of reading in one shot. But, This is one I don't know if I would personally be able to do such a thing for.
Yeah.
Liefeld being on Gabe's Mount Rushmore. Absolutely. I just thought that the time slide cover is just not worthy of the love it got on the secondary market. I didn't understand it personally. Rosebash killed it. I love this cover. But guys, if you liked any of the books we just spoke about and you live within the United States, go visit comicnation.us where you can get yourself these books. The books are already discounted at 15% off, but you can get an additional 5% by using discount code Black Crown. If you're in Canada, go visit comiclegion.ca where you have 20% off of the cover price already. But if it's your first order, use discount code ENLIST. Now, if you liked these books, you want to know a little more information, maybe there's some other things that there may be on the list, go visit coverprice.com, because on coverprice.com, Lefteros has his full write-up of every selection, every book we spoke about tonight. So you can go read that. And of course, if you enjoyed any of this, guys, hit the subscribe button, show some love, come hang out every Sunday as we talk comics, because that's what we're all here for. All right, Travis. I said we're here to talk comics. I want to talk the secondary market. I want to talk those books that sold, those Baker Shakers. And let me tell you, he came in this week with a monstrous list. Some books that really shocked me. So, dude, are you ready?
So ready.
Let's get into it. All right, boys and girls, like I said, market report, we're going to talk about the books that sold on the secondary market. Now, of course, I'm looking at everybody's list, whether it's the House of Stein, CBSI, Key Collector, Cover Price, Go Collect, verifying these sales through some apps such as Go Collect, eBay, Cover Price, whatever it may be. But most importantly, especially this week, the Baker Shakers. That's right, books that we didn't see entirely on some of these lists. Some we did. But he sent it to me first, so it's labeled the Baker Shaker. It's just how it works. It's just how it works. So let's get into it. Guys, the first book, this one coming in at number 3 on CBSI, is Amazing Spider-Man, issue 65. Dude, I saw this coming a million miles away. This is the NetEase variant. It was the Marvel Rivals cover. This one has Spider-Man. We have other covers that also came out last week with Magic on the cover, and then you had Venom gracing the cover. Comic shops were so annoyed by us collectors on Wednesday because their phones did not stop ringing thanks to these covers. And I know for a fact, raw near mint copy of this one right here sold for 50 Canadian dollars. Like I said, came in at number 3 on CBSI. Do not be surprised if we see this as a top 10. Over on Cover Price this Tuesday, I saw Cover Price's Daily Shakers this morning and a CGC 9.8 sold for 99 US dollars already on a pre-sale. So the people are loving the Rivals.
Yeah, this isn't too surprising. I think as long as the Rivals hype continues, and I, as of right now, it's definitely doing so. These things are going to keep popping. I like these are if you're into the game, or even if you're not into the game. I mean, these are hot right now. So yeah, definitely saw this one coming. This is cool.
Yep. I remember I was hitting up some friends. I'm like, guys, this was before Wednesday. I'm like, you might want to call your shops and see if these covers are available in shop, because I think the inevitable is about to happen. These are going to pop. And lo and behold, they popped, man. And, you know, we have more covers coming as well. There's the Storm one coming, and I believe there's a Sue Storm, if I'm not mistaken. That's also on its way. So you guys might want to keep an eye out for those. Sue Storm. Oh, yeah. The cakes.
Yeah, that one's getting some love for sure, isn't it?
Oh,
Especially the malice skins getting a
the
little bit of love.
mallet. That's skin, dude. This skin is so good.
Yeah, my a friend of mine who does some art. It's Marissa J art. If anybody's interested in art, she did a sweet malice illustration this week, and it was very cool, very cool. But yeah, that's right. Malice is all booty.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And they blessed us with their design for the video game, because Sue Storm's got cakes that I don't think anybody knew about. But yes, the Malice book as well has popped off. I imagine we'll probably see that over on Cover Price this week, maybe the top 10. but multiple copies have moved the Fantastic Four 280. So yeah, I could only imagine.
Left Arrow said the FOC of this was before the game release, so this was one of, man, if you got this on FOC, you were seeing the future, or at least
Yeah,
hoping.
dude. But it is true. It was before the game even released. Now, I'm not taking any chances. I felt, already talking about the game on previous episodes. I forgot who the guest was, but I brought it up multiple times how the game, it's almost inevitable. It's going to be a success, man. You're mixing such gameplay as like Overwatch, Fortnite, whatever, and then you got Marvel characters instead of, whatever characters we get in Fortnite and all that stuff. Although we have seen Marvel characters and other characters, DC, you name it, make their way to video games like Fortnite, but Rivals has really done some damage, and we'll talk a bit about that a little later on in the show. But this Amazing Spider-Man issue 65, raw near mint, 50 Canadian dollars, came in at number 3 on CBSI. Now, here we're going to get a little educational, guys. A little educational. This is what I was telling you guys at the beginning of the show. Harlem Youth Report, issue number 5, Youth in the Ghetto. This came out in 1964. It was distributed as a pamphlet blueprint for improvement. Now, what they did was obviously there was a strategic plan back in the time. I think the company was Haru. And I'm just going to give you guys a little more detail. It was an organization founded by so-and-so. They were awarded a grant in 1962 of like $230,000 to conduct a neighborhood study and create a strategic plan to create opportunities for young people in Harlem. So that's exactly what this is. Now, a comic book format was one of several modes of communicating communicating the results of the study. It was distributed as a pamphlet, like I just said. And yeah, man, what they were doing was like focusing, like the blueprint for improvement was a lot of like community action, education, employment, special programs, and arts and culture. So this is pretty cool as a part of history, of course. Raw VF copy selling at $2,750 was a cover price daily shaker. But what's even more interesting about this is, although it says number 5, there's actually nothing prior to that where we can.
Yep. It's a really interesting book because there really isn't anything there. And so yeah, it's pretty cool. I definitely think this is like you said, it's a historically interesting book to have. I was worried you're going to steal my little fun little fact I found out about Haru. That the original director of the program was Neil deGrasse Tyson's dad, apparently, which was kind of cool. Yeah. So crazy. Yeah, that was my fun fact.
That's wild. I didn't even know that. So I appreciate the info. But man, I could understand why such a book would sell as a raw VF at $2,750. You're going back to 1964. A lot of history here. It's really neat what they tried to do with this book. So pretty cool. Now, I want to show you guys this because this book is still getting some traction, still has some heat, and why wouldn't it, guys? Eminem, Punisher, Kill You. You got 55 CGC 9.8s on the census for this book, and a CGC 9.8. Yo, this book is still holding $1,100. Baker Shaker this week. Let's kick off the fucking Baker Shakers, baby. Let's go.
It'll never go away. This book will literally never go away. It always comes back. It's great. No, it's great. What was this? This was a free, if I remember correctly, this was a free book that came out with Double XL, the magazine, like the hip hop magazine. Yeah. And so yeah, it was cool. And there's like 2 versions of it, if I remember correctly. Like I said, this one comes back, it pops up all the time. And there was like 2 versions of it. There was one that was like a standalone, the issue was separated, and then the other one was part of the actual stapling inside the magazine, which I'm sure that was a lot of fun to get out. Even if you tried.
That's it, man. And if I'm not mistaken, Travis, correct me if I'm wrong, because I've seen copies in the past where like this cover, it says like not for resale, right? Like there was no intent for such a thing. It was, like you said, part of the XXL magazine stuff. So yeah, man, to see this hitting the numbers it's at, I'm actually not surprised. Yo, you saw that ASM cover with Eminem on it, with Spidey. That had a huge spike. It's still leveled off at a very fair price. I think, where it's at is still pretty impressive, but you got a combination here of Eminem Punisher. You add the story behind why this book is a little more sought out after the scarcity, the fact it was, coming out with XXL magazine, CGC 98, $1,100. Not surprised that this is still holding so well. But
no,
anyway,
not surprised at all. This is cool.
Yeah. Well, let's kick it to the next book, because Sonic Super Special number 3. Yo, you can't come to this channel and I'm not going to talk about a video game character. You know this. But anyways, Archie Comics. This is back in 1997. There's only 4 CGC 98s, and that is on the overall census as well. So the only books graded for this book, all of them hit 98s, and it's only 4, guys. CGC 98 selling at $200 US. Baker Shaker, hell yeah. I think this is a neat book to have in your collection, at least for myself. I love my Sonic, I love my video game books, but it's a sick cover. It's a sick cover.
It's great, man. And there's no way the Sonic book wasn't making the show. But yeah, no, this is fantastic. I love it. And definitely mostly that 4 CGC 9.8s on the census. That's definitely driving some of that. So, honestly, if you're a collector, like if you're into video game covers or video game books, or just really into Sonic, $200 for something that's only got 4 9.8s out there right now. I mean, I've spent money in worse ways, truly. So
at $200, I'm a little concerned on what you're spending on, bro. But CGC 98, $200. Like I was saying, there's only 4 on the census, so you don't see these 98s come to sale too often. So the fact this only went at $200, I was pretty surprised. So I felt it was, definitely a book worthy of putting on the list tonight, and we just shed some light on, because you factor all that stuff, $200 sounds like a deal, in my opinion. Yeah. Although this is not a key book, like nobody nope. cares anything that happens inside this book. Just a nice cover,
it's
scarcity, and that's
it's a scarcity buy for sure. Especially if you're into the character, that's definitely what it is.
Exactly. But guys, hang tight, because look at this, Marvel Kith issue number 3. Now, look, the Kith stuff. Some people like the sneakers that you get with this shit. Is technically you're buying the sneakers rather than the comic, but this comic book was included with a pair of Marvel Kith sneakers. Now, there was a chart available as well. This one came slapped in a PSA. That's right, guys. PSA is entering the chat very soon, guys. They are going to be coming to the grading scene in just a few moments. Hang tight. PSA is here in 2025, but this came slabbed. And apparently for this particular cover, there was only a 0.2% chance of hitting it. So as you can see, the grade there being PSA authentic, $395 US. Baker Shaker this week. These are still doing some damage on the secondary market. They're still doing very well.
Yeah, these are interesting. I didn't know a lot about these before I saw this today. And a couple of them came slab. There were, I believe there was some that came raw, correct? If I remember correctly. I think I saw the chart.
Yep.
And there were some that were 1 of 1. I think there was a sketch cover somewhere that was 1 of 1, and pretty cool. This one, I believe, was one of the rarer, like on more on the rare side than some of the other ones. So this is pretty cool. Overall, that doesn't surprise me that it's getting some pop, especially if you could only get it with the sneakers.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the rarest, because 0.2% chance, and I'm talking about just of this issue, right? Because there's multiple covers. You'll have, let's say, the green background where it says Kith rather than the silver, etc. But really neat. Like I said, $395 US is still very impressive for where it's at. Now, guys, I see you currently holding at 53 viewers. I appreciate you all. I love you all. Just want to remind everybody, we're doing a giveaway tonight. We're going to be giving away not 1, but 2 slabs. So you have the opportunity to win these both. So hang tight. It could happen at any point within the show. All you got to do in the live chat is hashtag the hashtag that we are going to drop. So I will let you guys know what that hashtag is, so you have the opportunity to win this awesome set of slabs donated by Michael Baker himself, Mr. Baker Shaker. So let's continue going with some of those books. Uncanny X-Men issue 544. This is the second printing, covered by Greg Land. It's the final issue of the run. There's only 37 9/8 on the census for this book, and a CGC 9/8 just sold for $250. Very impressive for the second printing, I gotta say.
Yeah, this one kind of was a little kind of was kind of made me turn my head a little bit. This one was interesting. I certainly wouldn't have expected this one to hit at 250 like that. But second printing, only 37 on the census. I mean, yeah, I mean that depends if you're a big Greg Land fan, maybe. But yeah, this one was definitely more of a strange pop. But that I think Baker just said something about this being a wraparound, so that's pretty cool. I bet that looks great in a slab. So
yeah, exactly that. So as Baker says, it's a wraparound with the villains in the back. Now you could already see the Sentinel with his head at the complete top. But yes, in a wraparound, it's a gorgeous book. Like I said, it's interesting to see this second print getting some traction still, even this far after its release. Now, again, final issue. It's definitely worthy of having within your collection. Now, speaking X-Men, I want to show you guys this one because all new X-Men issue 27. This is the 75th anniversary cover by Alex Ross. CGC 9/8 sold for $270. Was a cover price daily shaker. I love this cover. Alex Ross hit a home run with this one. I think it's gorgeous. Some might feel otherwise. For myself, it's beautiful. Is it $270 beautiful? That's a whole other discussion.
yeah, I mean, if you're an Alex Ross collector, I think it makes sense. I mean, it just depends on how bad you want it. I'll say this, not related to this cover. This series was great. I remember when this was coming out, and I remember just being absolutely hooked on it. All New X-Men was awesome. But it's not always surprising to see something from Alex Ross pop. I mean, I know the Crypto Superman Alex Ross cover is popping right now, big time on the aftermarket too. And so yeah, it's not surprising to see something that he's done get up there. 270s, that's a good number for whoever sold it though, for sure. But if you're in the right hands, or if somebody who's just trying to complete that Alex Ross run or collection, then yeah, might have to grab it. If it's a 1 in 75, that's even better.
Yeah, hyper you are. And given it's a 75th anniversary, a 1 in 75, it's very fitting, of course. But yes, it is a 1 in 75. It's a beautiful cover. A beautiful cover. 270. Not too shabby, but again, it's a little up there for myself. I would rather spend that money elsewhere, but still a gorgeous cover, a wonderful wall book, in my opinion. I think this looks gorgeous displayed. Especially that, I don't know. We get a lot of snow here. I feel like the background's kind of fitting for such a thing. But anyways, are you getting snow where you're at? No.
We got so in North Carolina, like an inch of snow is the snowpocalypse. The whole world shuts down. So yeah, we got like 2 inches, and nobody went anywhere.
Do you guys even have winter tires where you're at?
No, so that's the whole reason we don't do anything. We do not have the infrastructure for this. So like I lived in the mountains of North Carolina for like 3 or 4 years, and they have the funding and the infrastructure. You can get around whenever, however, no matter how bad it is.
I love it.
But anywhere outside of the mountains, nah, you're done. You might as well just pack it in. You're not getting anywhere.
All the Canadians in the chat are like rookie. But anyways, let's keep it rolling with some other books. Oh boy, WWE Superstars issue 11. This is a Secret Wars 8 homage cover featuring Hulk Hogan at the forefront, and as you can see, there's many other characters in the background. CGC 9/8 sold for $125, and I highly doubt that this sold because of his promo he just cut on Monday Night Raw. Because guys, Monday Night Raw has now gone over to Netflix. WWE has shifted over to Netflix in a massive deal, and the entire show was great. But then Hulk Hogan made his way, and boy, did the crowd give it to him.
Yeah, I mean, the always thing about, you always hear people say it's like watching a train wreck. You just can't do anything to stop it, so you just watch it. But man, it was one of the most brutal promos I have seen in a very long time in pro wrestling, and it was just too much. It was so funny. Hogan, definitely. You could tell there was some tension as he was walking out of the building there,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was wild.
Hey, you know what, man? I was telling you backstage how, like, you know, that audio that came out about him and what he was saying was very harsh, man. It was, you know, he's got that racist um image now,
Yep.
right? Like
Yep.
nobody looks at him as the eat your vitamins guy anymore. No, they look at him as the racist dude. And I was telling you, I'm like, you know, it's kind of funny what they're homaging here as well, right?
Yep.
Just the coincidence. It's rough, unfortunately, for Hulk Hogan. I know, you know, it goes without saying he's one of the biggest important people in wrestling history when it comes to WWE, WWF, back in the day. But man, it's like his entire legacy got buried with that one leak.
Yep. Yep. I mean, it's hard to for me. I mean, it's like it kind of, I know it sucks for him, but it's definitely it's hard to argue at all with you kind of, you make your bed, you lay in it kind of thing. So it's tough, but it's the way it goes, man. It was definitely like I
Hard to
said, it
watch.
was maybe the most memorable promo I've seen in a long time.
You know what's funny, man? He came to Montreal a few years back. Like we're talking years ago, and I think it was SmackDown, or yeah, it was SmackDown. And, dude, we gave him like a standing ovation, a standing ovation. Like SmackDown was 15 minutes into the showtime, and we were still giving him an ovation. We weren't letting him talk. I'm curious if he would come back to Montreal, if he would get that same reaction. I think everybody would throw fucking poutines at him and smoke meat sandwiches.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
You're probably right.
But anyways, I
My
just thought it was
God.
fun to bring this up because this actually did sell this week. CGC 98, 125 US dollars is what it is. Let's keep it going. Ghost Rider issue 22, guys. I wanted to show you guys this because this is pretty cool. It's a book that I feel like you could find within dollar bins over and over again, right? Like you've probably passed these many times, but Ghost Rider issue 22 actually has a secret variant cover. Now you see the flame there, where the skull head is. That flame here on this cover is blue, whereas on the regular it's the typical orangey fire flame that's going on. CGC 98 of this sold for 170 US dollars. It's a Baker shaker, but like I said, when you guys are out there at your LCSs or at a convention or whatever it may be, you might want to keep an eye out for that, right? Because the flame here being in blue now is a little more sought out after. So CGC 98 selling at 170 US dollars, whereas the typical orange flame is nowhere close to this. It goes for way less, less than half. But beautiful cover, needless to say. I think it's gorgeous, and I like knowing this now because whenever I'm out and I get across the Ghost Rider, section of the long boxes, I'm gonna be like, yo, let me see if that blue flame is here.
This is definitely one of those books where somebody brings a long box into a comic shop and sells it to them, and the comic shop's just like, yeah, just throw it in the bin over there. They're gonna look right past it,
Yeah.
That you're absolutely right. It's just this has that written all over it as a book that's just going to just be found somewhere in a random box at a comic shop. So yeah,
it's pretty cool. Hyper saying Marvel several of these secret skull variants. I agree with Joffrey saying gorgeous cover of the Ghost Rider. It's insane, dude. I love it. Both covers pop. I like the orange and I like the blue flame, but really neat to see this. So I thought it was great to put on the list. CGC 98, 170 US dollars. Beautiful book, but I'm telling you, if you guys see the orange one, you're gonna be like, wow, what a price difference. Like that is a dollar book all day long, $5 at most. But yes, patience is totally key. I couldn't agree with you more, JSS Brooklyn. So thank you for that. Now, Venom number 6. This is from the 2017 run, guys. McFarlane had a 1 in 1,000 ratio for this book. And this is the issue where Eddie Brock returns as Venom. So you guys remember that? We had Flash Thompson at one point, which I really enjoyed. I know a lot of people didn't flock to that. They weren't too crazy about it. I really liked it. But the 1 in 1,000 now sitting at 520 US dollars for a CGC 98. This is sick. McFarlane's notorious for doing this on certain issues where he drops that 1 in 1,000. But this was going for a little more of a premium. Seeing it at the 520 mark, I think it's getting into some comfortable waters where people might want to pick this up, and it's a cool cover.
Yeah, it is, and a lot of sales, a lot of sales on this book. Uh, in graded copies too, and just looking through Covrprice's data before the show on this one. And yeah, it's changing hands. It's available. You can probably get it, and if you're patient enough or you're willing to have a conversation with somebody, you can probably get it into an area where you're pretty comfortable, I think. And it's a cool one to have. I mean, it's a 1 in 1,000 McFarlane. That's cool, man.
Yeah, there's some nice 1 in 1,000 McFarlanes. This one's definitely up there as probably one of the nicer covers. I think it's pretty cool. I know it kind of seems a little bland when you're looking at Eddie Brock there in the background staring at you. It's kind of like, what are you doing looking at my symbiote? It gives me that awkward vibe.
Looks like Guile.
Yeah, it does. But it's a neat cover, man. Yes, this is an amazing cover. I agree with you, Chia Pet. The details on his mouth, his teeth, everything. It's really good. I could have used that green saliva. Those eyebrows have their own Instagram account. Yeah, Eddie Brock's eyebrows are on fire, dude. But anyways, let's keep it going. Batman 609. We always talk the newsstand premium, and of course, it makes sense when you get to such books that are later on into the 2000s. But newsstand edition of this, first appearance of Tommy Elliott, who we know as Hush. CGC 98 selling at 725 Canadian dollars. Baker Shaker this week. Again, newsstand premium, because you know you can get a direct copy of this for like a third of the price.
Yeah, that's 100% what this is. Where's Chris's graphic when we need it? Yeah, he's always got the newsstand graphic, and I can't ever find it when I need it.
I have
it. But it's fantastic. But yeah, like it's just the kind of the further along you get to, I think it's what's the magic year, 2003 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
That newsstands are almost they're almost non-existent, and you're getting into that territory here. I mean, I remember the exact year. Is this 2003?
So 2013, your newsstands,
2013, my bad. Yeah.
1% of them out of obviously the entire direct market. 2005, you're at 2%. 2000, you're at 5%. 1995, you're at 10%. 1990, 15%. 1986, 50%. 1982, 80%. And 1979, you had 94% of newsstands taking up the market here. So, market as in the prints, right? So you can see how later on within the years, this becomes a lot more scarce. So I would say as of like the 2000 mark and up, like, you're falling into the 5% and under. And so you tend to keep an eye out for that. And you know what, man? I've not been the biggest newsstand collector, but lately, man, I've been picking up whenever I find something post 2000 in a newsstand. I just like I'll grab it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was on I think it was on the Shaker Show where I think it was Chris that even said this when they threw the graphic up one time, was, if you're buying for resale, and if that's what you do, if you're buying for resale and you're buying a collection, a small collection, a couple hundred books, whatever, if there's just a couple of these in there, it's pretty much a grab. Like, you just go ahead and grab it, because you're going to be able to flip it. They're so scarce, and when you get the combination of that with this being a key, you definitely it's definitely a nice recipe, especially in that condition. So yeah, definitely a newsstand pop here. But cool book. These books are kind of getting a little love right now on the aftermarket, just because of the return of Hush coming up soon and a couple issues. So yeah, these are going to be popping up on the aftermarket quite a bit, probably.
Yep. I agree with JSS Brooklyn, man. The 608 is still it, but we will talk 608 in just a few. So hang tight, guys, because we're going to stay on the newsstand premium train, because Hulk #1, first appearance of Red Hulk, if you want to say that. I still think it's issue 2, but to each their own. CGC 98, $807 US. Baker Shaker this week. Now, I know that there's a lot of hype, because, of course, now we're going to see Harrison Ford as the Red Hulk in Captain America Brave New World. Cool. But again, the newsstand premium of this really has gone once again. Like, this is like, you can get a direct for like a third of this.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. This is all newsstand. It's newsstand and good timing, right? I mean, we're getting a little bit of the movie pop here too, but um, it's a good storm for whoever's got a hold of these right now and is looking to sell. It's a good time to be a seller when you have some of these hanging out.
Yeah. Travis, I'm curious. Is it Hulk 1 or Hulk 2 for you? That's the first appearance.
Well, technically, I think it's Hulk too, but I mean, you look at the cover though, and you know, it's a hard argue because a lot of people would say the cover might count, but I
Yeah.
don't know. For me, it's always the actual, full appearance, and yeah, I think, yeah, hyper's all over it. I think, yeah, I think that's kind of how I feel about it. I know like I said, people will have that argument, and they can, and that's cool. But yeah, I think your first cover appearance is maybe a little different from your first appearance in the book. So
Yeah. You have JD in the chat saying he just recently picked up a 9.6 of this, and what a drop from a 9.8 to 9.6. So I could only imagine how low he got that. So shout out to JD. But Hulk 1, CGC 9.8 in a newsstand edition, selling for $807. Of course, the first appearance of Red Hulk. To each their own. To each their own. But anyways, we said we were going to talk Batman 608. Here we go, guys. I didn't know about this until Michael Baker hit me up. But there is a promo comic that exists for Batman 608, and it was given away celebrating a 15-foot statue that was placed in Burbank, California. That's right. This cover came out to celebrate that. CGC 98 sold for 5,000 US dollars. Baker Shaker this week. Again, like I said, I had no idea this book even existed. It is such a cool cover. Of course, celebrating the 15-foot statue. This is sick. I love it. I love it. Like now, like not only do I want a second print of the 608 because I don't have one, but this is wicked.
yeah, this is wild, man. So Baker just said this. Only 3 of these on the census and universal grade. This is a weird book. I tried to look into this, but there are significantly more signature series versions of this book on the market than there are
Yeah,
standard universal grades. I think it's like 39-7. Like I think
yeah,
it's a crazy ratio. And yeah, so these are actually pretty hard to find compared to ones that are signed, which, to each their own. It's all about, do you want something that there's less of, or do you want something with a signature on it? Whatever. That's to each their own, and depends on what you're going to kind of dictates what you're going to pay for it. But it's an unusual book. It's kind of hard to find, and it's just that's a weird ratio for signature series versus standard.
yeah. No, exactly. Now I saw. I think it was Chia Pet in the chat who was asking. Now, Batman 608 came out in 22. Sorry, it was in 2002. This book, this print, that was given away to celebrate the 15-foot statue. This on the label of CGC says 2020. So that was when they dropped this book. So this print is only in existence as of 2020. So not many people know about this. I was one who didn't know about this until I saw it over on the list this week. And I was like, wow, thank you so much for sharing this, Michael Baker. This is wicked. Like I said, here I was thinking I'm going to get myself a second print. Now it's like, whoa, coming across this in the wild doesn't look so possible. But man, CGC 98 selling 5,000 US dollars. I'm not surprised, dude. I'm not surprised. Like when you factor the information we just said, Travis, you were just talking about, the scarcity and how it's odd how there's less blue labels than the actual signed copies of this. It's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting.
It's weird. This is, if you're a modern Batman collector, this one has to be on the list. It just has to. It's so cool. You may never get it, but it's got to be one that you're looking for constantly. And
yeah, I love how JD said for $5,000 you could probably buy the statue at that point. But yeah, very neat. Batman 608. But hang tight, guys. It doesn't end there because check this. We were talking Batman Legends of the Dark Knight issue 41. There was a Six Flags promo giveaway that took place. Now, the copy that sold was signed by Jim Lee. You can see the signature there. The signature on the copy that sold was actually placed different. It was yellow above Batman's head where the lightning is. but the cover is just gorgeous. CGC signature series in a 9/8 sold for $5,000 as well. Baker Shaker this week. Again, another cover that I didn't know existed. And I like these promo giveaways. You know, these are things that I always enjoy seeing on the secondary market because, you know, most of the time we don't have the capacity to pick these up. You know, there's con exclusives, of course, that exist. Like you remember the Spawn Singapore book? Like that's something amazing to see. It's almost like, okay, you know, you won't have much of a chance to pick that up because here we are on the other side of the pond. But when you look at things like this, these Six Flags promo giveaways and etc., I love seeing books like this because, you know, like we had a shop do exclusives with certain comics, etc., and like I get it, the exclusive stuff is cool, but me for myself, dude, these promo giveaways, etc., like you saw the GI Joe promo giveaway.
Yep.
There was what was it, the Transformers promo giveaway.
Yep.
That was the one, I think, for staff, that it was all like white and red.
Yeah,
those are wicked to see. I love seeing things like this.
Yeah, this is cool. I mean, because I always miss these things, right? Like I never even know they exist until they popped. And yeah, this is a great, I mean, this is just classic Jim Lee too. I mean, it's hard to argue with a Jim Lee Batman cover. It just looks fantastic. And yeah, it's like Derek just said, it's just something about Batman and night covers with lightning in the background. They just work. So yeah.
You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. The classic lightning stuff. Jim Lee, notorious for such, though, right? Like,
yeah.
I think we all agree, Jim Lee is just an absolute legend. But again, a crazy cool promo giveaway. I had no idea this book even existed. Sorry, this cover. I knew the Legends of Dark Knight 41 existed. I didn't know about this cover. But I'm loving seeing such books. So thank you, Michael Baker. That Batman 608. Absolutely amazing. It's stunning. Such a cool cover. I didn't even know existed. Then you got this Legends of the Dark Knight 41 Six Flags promo, CGC signature series in a 9/8, $5,000. Now, I think it is safe to say that this might be modern comics' biggest book. Yes. In recent years, I don't care what anybody says. Amazing Spider-Man, issue 667. The 1 in 100 ratio by Del Auto. There's only 26 CGC 9/8s on the census, and a CGC 9/8 just sold for $28,800 over on the Heritage Auctions, and it falls into the Baker Shaker this week. Spider Island. I enjoyed Spider Island. I really got into Spider-Man as of this point. Like, but you take Spider Island and you start building towards 700 when everything happens between Doc Ock's, the swap. It was some great stories, some weird things in between, like that character Alpha. I've said this in the past. I'm not crazy about that character, but I look at this book, Heritage Auctions. This took place just now. CGC 9/8, $28,800. I remember sending you the slide, and you were like, "Excuse me, 28,000." But we'd look at books like Miles Morales, the first appearance, the 1 in 25, Ultimate Fallout 4. 9/8 in the COVID boom, that thing exploded. Like, it was well over $30,000 easily, and now it's dropped to more than half of this. So just to show you how the test of time, this book is holding way more than that first appearance of Miles Morales.
Yeah, you know what the crazy thing about this book is? This is almost, this is just a shade under 20,000 below its all-time high.
Yeah,
this book has gone for 40K twice. And it is crazy. I mean, these sales numbers for this book are insane. And when I first saw it, I was like, my God, really? And then I started to dig into it a little bit more, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so crazy. And I remember thinking, like, it's a 1 in 100, but not all 1 in 100s are popping like this, and it's crazy.
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. Now, like I said, you factor some of the things we just spoke about. Example, first appearance of Miles in the 1 in 25. That's come down. This has come down, like you said, right?
Yeah.
This is not its all-time high, guys. It's sold for way more than this. but it's still interesting to see how you can compare this to such a book. And I use Miles Morales, The Ultimate Fallout 4, 1 to 25 as an example, simply because many people talk about that book as today's biggest grail. But it seems like this one's taking a lot more of that love, from that Miles Morales book. Now, don't get me wrong. Miles Morales clearly has way more potential. I think there's a bigger ceiling for Miles Morales, especially, should we see him in the MCU. I know that my kids are going to be hunting the first appearance of Miles Morales in the future. Luckily, their dad has one, but they're gonna have to fight for it because I only have one and I have a second print. So there's that. But factoring these two books side by side, right now it's pretty impressive to see this one holding a lot higher than the first appearance of Miles.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, it's like you said, this one has dipped in the last 2 years. I think the last time it got up over 40K, Dan's all over it. But if the last time I saw this one get up, or last time this one got over 40K was late 2022, so it has dipped, a good bit in the last year and a half. But yeah, no, it's pretty wild. I mean, even with a dip like that, when you're getting up into these numbers, that's still just a substantial amount of money. And yeah, Dan said, for that price, I would buy an AF-15, and I can't disagree with that at all.
Oh no, I absolutely, dude. Like, I'm comparing this to Miles because if I got to talk, modern comics and some that have come out in recent years, I think these two can go side by side. But obviously, if I had $28,000, $29,000, you can bet your ass I'm going to be looking at an AF-15 as opposed to this book. In fact, AF-15 is my end game. Like, my goal eventually is to sell my whole collection and just cash out with an AF-15. I'm good. But yeah, man, this is really interesting. Such a cool book to see on the list. I hope you guys like the market report tonight. Like I said, a lot of cool things I've never seen before. It was very informative, from that Harlem book to these prints, these promo giveaways I've never seen. But speaking giveaways, guys, I just want to remind you, you have a chance to win this set of slabs tonight. We're going to hop into the hot topics portion of the show. We're giving away Ultimate Invasion #1, the second printing in a CGC 9.8, and we're also giving away the Spider-Man Ultimate Universe free comic book day book. Both are in CGC 9.8. So join the chat. We're going to ask you guys to drop a hashtag, or you guys can win these books tonight. One lucky winner is getting both books. So hang tight. Michael Baker, thank you so much for, contributing these slabs, giving them to the channel for us to give away to you awesome viewers, those of you who rock with us every week. But speaking rocking, Travis, it's time we go out with an outro, a big outro. It's the final set. We're going to get into the hot topics, and we have a lot to talk about, sir. Are you ready?
Let's go.
Vamos. All right, guys, hot topics of the week now. Of course, like I said, many big things to talk about, but the hottest topic this week is the fact that CGC has increased their prices once again. That's right, we are only a week into 2025 and they've managed to do that, but we'll talk about that in just a second. Let's kick it off with some other news. The MCU. Seth Rollins, that's right, I'm a wrestling fan, you're a wrestling fan. Seth Rollins confirms his role was cut from Captain America 4. The script went through a lot of rewrites and reshoots, and we're not surprised. Seth Rollins was recently on the podcast of Chris Van Vliet. I love listening to him. He's probably one of my favorite podcasters in general. Like, I listen to him. I love wrestling, like I said. So to hear him sit down with these big time names on a weekly basis, talking some things, it's just interesting. I love it, and he does a phenomenal job. But Seth Rollins confirming this, one, it didn't surprise me, but it just reminded me how the Serpent Society books popped off. There was a lot of stuff speculation wise that was tied to that, and unfortunately it doesn't fall through. Now we get the confirmation that it was cut, so we knew there was a lot of reshoots, a lot of rewrites, but I felt this was rather interesting to hear come out of his mouth directly, because the rewrites and the reshoots, I think they would like to try to keep that on the DL. DL meaning down low for some of the old timers. But him saying this for myself, it was no surprise. Like I said, we've known about these reshoots, but it's crazy to think how much of this movie has been cut and chopped and changed over and over, because it's been quite some time.
Yeah, I was kind of bummed to hear it. I was looking forward to it. I was kind of looking forward to seeing him in it, and you know, for me, it's always some people do. Some people do always say that some people do associate reshoots with bad movies, but I don't necessarily think that's the case. It doesn't always lead to that. All movies are reshot, so not a big deal. But they are running up that tab, that's for sure. And it just sucks that one of the things to get cut was Seth, because I mean he's so much fun. So
Yeah.
it would be fun to see him there. But it is pretty interesting to hear that come out of his mouth, like you said, because usually the studios are going to try to keep that kind of under wraps, and but hey, maybe he got the okay to go ahead and say it.
Yeah. Now, Michael Baker is saying that the budget is almost 500 million now, going to be hard to break even after the you add in the marketing and the cut the theaters get. So all of this stuff is very important to factor. Hitting the 500 million mark, I think they'll break even. I think they will. I think there's a lot of hype behind this, but yeah, man, this is unfortunate. I was looking forward to it, but it is fun to look back and think the Serpent Society books popping off, because those dropped just as fast as they popped off.
Yep, sure
Yep.
did.
But anyways, let's keep it rolling, because up next we have Cynthia Erivo says the X-Men Storm is her next dream role. You know what, Travis? Normally I give my take before anything. I'm gonna actually let you take the wheel on this one, because I feel a certain way. But I'm curious. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to argue with Cynthia Erivo at all. I mean, she's been in some pretty big time roles in the last 5-6 years. I mean, it was what she was in Color Purple, and obviously in Wicked. So it's a cool idea. I don't usually bash on castings too much. Would she be my first choice? Probably not. I would say. But she's been good in what she's been in. I'm not sure that this is you know, I'm not sure that there's not a better option out there. Even though she's great, this is not taking away from anything that she's doing. She's killer. And you can't argue with what she's done. I don't think this is the fit for me, at least.
Exactly. Look, if I could be completely blunt with you guys, for myself, she looks like an extra in Wakanda. She's a phenomenal actress. I will not take that away from her. I heard nothing but amazing things about her acting chops when it came to Wicked. I haven't watched Wicked. I actually do want to watch it, so probably gonna check that out. But when I think Storm, I definitely don't think such a portrayal. Like, I don't think of this actress whatsoever. Halle Berry brought those curves, brought that guy. Storm is sexy, whether you want to admit it or not. Storm to me has to have that, but she also has to have the "don't f with me" character going on, because Storm is just badass as it gets. But she's sexy badass, and I'm not that Cynthia Erivo is not entirely sexy, but no, it ain't Storm sexy, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm with you. And again, it's kind of like you said, you're not taking away from her as an actress. But I would say, great actress, great actor doesn't always mean great performance, great memorable performance for a character. I mean, we've seen it even inside of the comic book realm. I mean, I Jared Leto Joker, like there's, and some people like Jared Leto's Joker. That's fine. Whatever. But yeah, I think being great actors doesn't always translate,
Yeah.
to great performances. You can be a great actor and have a bad performance, or not be a good fit. And I'm just a comic fan, so what do I know? But for me, this isn't. It wouldn't be my first choice. I mean, I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm not going to see the movie now.
No,
But
no, for
yeah,
sure.
right. You know what I'm saying? But I think there was probably some other fits out there, maybe.
It wouldn't influence if I'm gonna watch the movie or not, but I'm happy to see the chat is in unison, in agreement as well, saying that not entirely the best casting, but Chiapet also mentioning Halle Berry. Now, Halle Berry definitely brought the sexiness side to this, but definitely when it came to the acting chops. And it's interesting because Halle Berry is not a bad actress; she's very good, but she just didn't portray Storm the way I grew up reading Storm, watching Storm, especially in the '90s cartoon. No, she was like way too laid back. Even when she started to bring the storm, I just felt like, okay, this is pretty weak. You know what I mean? Like that was the Halle
Yeah.
Berry take.
It's got to be a good fit. You know what I mean? It's got to be someone who can get the most out of the role. And so like, and we've had it in numerous comic book movies where you have someone who looks the part but doesn't fill the role, or
Yeah.
someone who fills the role and doesn't necessarily look the part. So it's hard to get that good match, but it's one of those things that everybody, whenever you see it on screen, it, like, you just know it's a fit. It's like, Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man. When you see it on the screen, you're like, oh yeah, that was the right pick, so.
Happy to see some people here in the chat, like North 49, going back and forth with Chia Pet. I love seeing you guys going at it because, yes, it is important. I like seeing different takes, and that's what this is about. The platform is about just having conversations, hearing everybody's side to it. Nobody's going to argue about anything. It's just keep the information flowing. So let's move forward because Horizon Zero Dawn film has been confirmed now. I don't know if you guys remember, back in 2020 for Free Comic Book Day, we actually had the continuation from the PS4 game take place in comic book form. So, a lot of people start flocking to this. There's people paying attention, kind of like what we say over on Covrprice, read the tea leaves. This confirmation, I'm excited about. Video game turning into, a film. Let's go. I'm always ready. But was Horizon my favorite game? Not entirely. It wasn't the biggest game in my, oh my God, I must play collection, right? So just want to put this out there in case you guys missed the news. You might want to keep an eye out. I think those Free Comic Book Day books from 2020, it had also gotten postponed because it was at the peak of when COVID hit, right? And when COVID hit, that was the year that Free Comic Book Day got pushed. So you may have missed this book. In case you did, you might want to keep an eye out for this one.
Yeah, agree. I actually didn't play Horizon. I heard kind of some good things about it, and I never got around to playing it. I ended up getting I was off of PlayStation for a little while when this game came out, and when I came back, I was like, I'll find other stuff to play. But yeah, it's always looked like a cool game, and it doesn't surprise me to see it be turned into a film. They're making films with everything, so it's not all that surprising. But
Travis, you're a dad. I'm not surprised that you fell out of video gaming for a little bit of time. Sometimes I talk like I'm the biggest gamer, but most of the time I start the game and then I fall asleep with the remote on my stomach, and the game's watching me pretty much what ends up happening.
I can't commit. I mean, the only game that I've committed to and beaten start to finish recently was God of War 2.
So, what a wonderful game. That is a phenomenal game. You can't go wrong with that one. But anyways, let's keep it rolling because, guys, this is pretty interesting. Matt Reeves says the Batman sequel will film this year. He says we're doing something that absolutely continues where the story came from, but it's something that I hope people are really surprised by. Now, on the left side of this slide, I'm showing you guys Batman issue number 2, and you also have, of course, Batman issue number 6. Now, you guys, I want you to note that the movie is still delayed until October 2027, right? So they're going to start filming this year. But the reason why I'm showing you, first appearance of Talon, Court of Owls, etc. We watched Penguin, and I feel like there was hints there. And then you see where Batman left off. It almost feels inevitable that this is the direction that they start to go in. So I hope this is the case, because if he's telling us that he's going to continue where the story came from, and he hopes that people are surprised, I would really enjoy this. Especially I think the Batman Snyder run was really good.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite Batman runs, period. It's one of those that it's one of the few runs that I just went literally every issue, one after the other, as they dropped, grabbed them. Greg Capullo's art was so good through that run. And I think that the court is tailor-made for a movie. Just the whole Court of Owls, the Talons, everything is tailor-made for a movie. Even going into, if you pulled some from the Night of the Owls and that little mini arc right there. I think that it really is perfect for a movie. I do think that you would need to put another baddie in there somewhere,
Yeah,
because I don't know that the court can hold the the not comic savvy viewer there, someone
exactly.
who doesn't really know a lot about the court. But I mean, I'll just never forget reading that first, those first, I think it was 9 or 10 issues dealing with the court, and just the being lost in the maze and being drugged, and some of the art in those books were just, I remember, just it reignited comics for me, honestly. And yeah, it would be really cool. And were you mentioning the curtains and
Yeah,
Penguin?
of
The
course. The
curtains,
curtains, yes.
the owl curtains.
Yep, they were there. But yeah, man, I agree with you. Snyder really does put together things that are meant for movies, and I think the Court of Owls being primarily from this run, um, something worthy of a movie. And I think it's pretty inevitable if it's going to continue from that. I hope so. Now, there's always the fear, the confusion. We still don't know, the uncertainty on if we're going to see the Robert Pattinson version of Batman in the James Gunn DC universe. So we shall see. But regardless, I don't even care anymore. I'm okay with
No.
even two separate Batmans. Just give me this movie. Let me feast on my nerd side here for just a minute, because I think seeing Court of Owls would be amazing.
Yeah, yeah, and I prefer, they've talked about building the live action Elseworlds universe so much leading up to the first full release of Superman.
Yeah.
I think if you incorporate it here, then you're kind of, I don't know. I mean, like, just cast a different Batman. It kind of makes everything a little more fun, I
Yeah.
think. I mean, for me at least.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. But
Yeah.
anyways, we're gonna keep it rolling because we were talking Marvel Rivals just before, guys, and you know it's been a huge success. We just saw what happened on the secondary market with just some covers that were dropped last week on Wednesday with the Amazing Spider-Man. You had Magic gracing the cover for Magic 1, and then you had the Venom for All New Venom issue number 2. But Marvel Rivals already within 1 month has earned $136 million. Now, you're probably wondering, why are you bringing this up, BC? This is not comics. I don't give a shit. Well, let me tell you why. As much as people might think otherwise, $136 million in just 1 month is not chump change. This is great. Great for the developers, great for the game, but it's great for comics in general to be at the forefront. Comic book characters, right? I'm just happy to see this as a comic book geek, because it doesn't just end at 136 million in just 1 month, guys. They got 20 million rivals, meaning 20 million players accounts set up for Marvel Rivals. People are enjoying this game. People are really, flocking to it. So I'm happy to see the success of, comic book characters coming to the forefront. Yes, we've been mainstream when it comes to movies for the last decade plus. But like, this is good stuff for us, because now we're seeing books on the secondary market get some love because of the video game, right? We're seeing merchandise get some love because of this video game. Even plushies, dude, are, of Jeff the Land Shark are in demand, dude. You name it. This is good. This is good stuff for us. Whether you love the game or hate the game, you have to accept the fact that this is great PR for Marvel right now, on all levels. On all levels.
Yeah, this is a hit. I mean, it's a hit. I mean, it's a free game.
Yeah.
It's a free game, and they're killing it. And I think it's I think the most interesting thing here about what you just put up was crashes and server disconnects can absolutely bury a game. I mean, they
Yes.
can bury a game, and if the game can continue to have people come back, get back on, log back on, deal with some of the bugs, deal with some of the growing pains of getting those servers right, then there's no reason to think that this will not continue, at least for a while. And they're doing some cool things with the story, building out the storyline. I think in ways that maybe Overwatch really didn't.
Yeah.
And I think they're kind of filling in some of those gaps and telling a cool story for the player. So even if you're not an avid comic reader, you don't really need to be. You can kind of enjoy the whole story of the game as it is. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, I agree with you. And like I said, you factoring all these things and how, the servers are crashing, like you were just saying, and people are still coming back to this. The love is there for this game. They immediately patched, but forget the game for just a second. When you look as an overall, how this is great PR for Marvel, for just comic book characters in general. I love it because now people are falling in love with characters they didn't even know about, right? Like, who the hell even cared about Malice up until we saw the Cakes on Sue Storm? Who really cared about Jeff the Land Shark up until the video game Magic? Well, obviously some of us, the
Right.
hardcore, care
Right.
about these characters. But I'm saying on a mainstream level, to hear these names in talks when you're at your work lunch table and people are like, "Hey, you playing Rivals?" Oh, I love Jeff the Land Shark. Really? You know what I mean?
Really?
So
That's
that's what I find very, very interesting. So shout out to them. I'm happy to see the success, and I'm curious to see just how long this holds on for. But guys, let's talk CGC. That's right. We got another increase by CGC, literally less than a week into 2025. Didn't take them long to do this. Now, some are saying maybe it's because they have an idea of where PSA is going to be within their frame, price guide. So maybe they want to match up to that. I don't know. Believe what you will. There's many things I find a little weird. Now, I'm going to go back and forth with you guys because here we're going to look at certain prices and we're going to just kick it off with the updates to CGC's grading tiers for services for comics, magazines, and pulps. The modern tier goes up $2, $27 from 25 for this submission. Then you have the vintage tier that's changed from 40 to 42. You have the high value tier, which now jumps to $95. It was $85. It's still currently $85, but $95 is a $10 price hike. So you guys are getting the gist here of how some of these prices have changed. The reholder increase was bananas. Yes, Michael Baker now, saying this, nailing it on the head. The fee changed to $25 on the reholder. Now, when you look at reholder, they it obviously varies amongst several others, but overall, because I don't want to break down each price, guys. If you want, feel free to print screen this and then compare with the CGC website of the current pricing. But the prices do suck, in a sense. On some, you know what I mean, $2, whatever. But it adds up. When you're submitting multiple books, it really adds up. Especially if you want to benefit, like myself, and I know majority of the chat here who's up here in Canada, when we ship to CGC, we're already taking a beating just on the dollar exchange, and then you factor the shipping. The only way you really benefit is when you're submitting a full box of like 20 books. Now, at $2 times 20, you're at $40, dude. Each box you're submitting, it's not chump change. Like it starts to add up, and especially that it's American. The costs for us, especially in Canada, is really going up, and as well for you Americans. Like this, it kind of sucks because we're seeing another increase, and we just got one not too long ago in 2024.
Yeah. I think I said something to you. It's pretty wild that a company racked with QC issues and these other issues are deciding to go for another price hike. I think costs do go up over time, but cost against your competition. You could say what you want about the holders or the labels, and we can have that conversation until the cows come home. But I think about this for a modern book at CBCS, it's 22. So then
Yep.
you're looking at, so go back to your example. If you're sending 20 books, you can save $100 going to CBCS versus going to CGC. It's a wild difference, and the reholder change to 25 is significantly higher, I think. And yeah, I don't know. It seems after everything with the, I mean, I don't know if you've seen the banana, the bending of the books inside of the holders. They're calling it Banana Gate now, and
Yep.
yeah, it's wild. It's wild that the response after all of this stuff is, let's bump the prices. And yeah, from a pure business perspective, sure, it makes sense. Prices go up, it's fine, but they're not hitting turnaround times. You see that everywhere, that they're not consistently hitting their turnaround times, and people will go elsewhere. I go elsewhere at this point. I really honestly consider, is it worth my time and money to send something off and potentially have it come back, damaged, and pay more for it now? I don't know, and I'm not here to just go in on CGC, because I mean the majority of my graded books are CGC. I've sent plenty of books to CGC.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. But for someone who's sending a box of books, for someone who's sending, 100 books, whatever, they're going to really consider that cost. They're going to seriously consider, overall, is this worth it for me to really dump all this money in and even potentially lose some on my investment. So yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think some of the comments that are coming in are very fair. Like example, Ozzy saying there are increases in price on almost anything at this point, within our daily lives. While the timing is off, it's a cost of doing business. Really, we don't even know if their material cost has gone up. Now, I remember having Tony from EGS over on the show, and he was saying like it's not cheap to get these things done. The cases, etc. So yeah, I do factor and think some of the stuff as well. Like, okay, maybe costs are going up or whatever. But it's just, I think for myself, the timing is kind of like, the costs are going up, but the service and quality is not really increasing. So it kind of has me always wondering, why is it that we favor CGC? It's a question that I've never had properly answered by anybody, even on the secondary market, because CBCS is holding at the prices that they're holding at. I don't really get it, as to why we flock still just the same CGC. Like, we'll accept, you know, rolling with the punches here. It's okay. We'll throw more money and more money. If they were to give us more increases throughout the year, and then PSA enters the chat, right? They're about to start making their way in 2025. If they come in cheaper, dude, I think a lot of people are just gonna flock that way. I even feel like if PSA would come in at $30, I really think people are gonna start to, and I'm talking about for the modern tier, right? Like right now, CGC's bumping up to 27. I wouldn't be surprised if PSA matches these prices. We start seeing people shifting gears, or maybe they'll come in cutting them at the knees. It's like, oh, you're at 27, we'll be at 25. Who knows? Who knows what route that's going to go when it comes to PSA? But it's just puzzling to me how we still tend to favor CGC. I think that is a whole discussion that needs to be had, because sure, the label looks nice. I still think the new CBCS label looks nice. PSA's looks a little basic, but it looks like PSA label. It's pretty much like their cards. You know what I mean? They haven't done anything, oh my god, yet, right? But there's time will tell. Time will tell.
Yeah, I agree. I think, look, if you have a bunch of books, and this is just what I would suggest, if you have a bunch of books, take some of the lower value ones to you, and send them. If you can afford it, send 2 to PSA when they start. Send 2 to CBCS. Send 2 to EGS. Whatever. Get them back. Send 1 or 2, and come get them back. See which ones you like the best and go for it. I think the biggest thing is that there's an assumption that, well, not really an assumption, that CGCs tend to hold resale a little bit better. I don't know. I mean, if it's a book you want, like, it all depends on what you're wanting to do with it. If you're wanting to resell it, fine. Maybe do the CGC thing. You still run the risk of it being damaged with the QC issues that they've had. And you run that with any company, but we just know that it's been an issue lately at CGC. And I think if it's a book for your personal collection, I think, you know, I don't know how much it truly matters. If you send a lower value book and it comes back and you like it, go for it. There's no harm in doing that for your collection. It really isn't.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm curious to see what happens to the secondary market, right? If we continue to see price hikes and the cost of grading now coming up. Like, dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. Okay, some of these books that pop on the weekly, we'll talk New Comic Book Day books. These books explode, and it's a short time frame. Like these are quick flips. You gotta be acting very quick. Like you have to have them in hand on the Wednesday and get ready to ship them out the next day. Because yeah, what ends up happening is these books come up and they come down. A lot of people I've noticed on eBay and etc. are pre-selling 9/8, right? Because they probably
Mhm.
have multiple copies. They'll screen them and make the pre-sales. Now secondary market, we're seeing prices, 25 now to 27. We're seeing the high value tier, come up by $10. Will the books follow suit on the secondary market? Because you start to look at these margins and it's like, man, it almost feels not worthy of sending in the book. I'd rather sell it raw.
Right.
Because by the time it comes back, it might take a dip, whatever it may be. There's many things to factor when it comes to reselling, right? So you're always keeping an eye out on the market. But for myself, it's getting to certain points. Myself personally, I thought the high value tier was mind blowing. The $10 increase, that one was the one that shook me. The other ones at $2, whatever. Like I said, it adds up if you're one of those guys that's submitting, um, you know, 20 books at a time. Then it's gonna hurt you for sure. But if you're submitting 20 books, I think you're within a very comfortable, financial state where you're flipping books and it's kind of paying off itself, right?
Right.
But I don't know. It's just it was a strange way to start the year. Immediately, here's a price hike. Like I said, PSA is now going to be coming very soon. I'm curious to see where this goes now for the rest of 2025. Are we going to see another price hike in 2025? PSA comes in. Will they be higher and force CGC to maybe even lift their price? There's many things that could take place here.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be interesting to see what PSA does. You would honestly, you would maybe think that they might try to come in and make some noise and maybe match or go a tish lower. You don't know, but maybe they don't go lower on everything. Maybe they go lower on some of the higher end stuff. And if they do that, they may be able to pull some of these people and some of these lifelong CGC people. CGC has always felt like the safe bet until it hasn't recently, and that's that's kind of putting everybody in kind of a pinch.
Yeah, look, Love for Comics was here, and I know he submits very often to CGC, and he's saying that he's scrambling to submit all of his custom labels before the hike because it adds up, and I believe it's an $8 price tag now. You gotta hurry up because the prices are going into effect as of January 21st, guys. So, if you want to avoid the price hike, you have to be submitting now. Especially for those high value tiers. Like I said, that $10 increase really sucks. But besides the point, if you submit by January 21st, the CGC is telling you that it has to arrive at their headquarters in Florida by February 11th. So that's the cutoff. So it's kind of like, they're giving us this 2 week grace period, so to speak, to really get our stuff over to CGC. And yeah, man, it's very very interesting to see us start the year in such a way. Alex saying he's definitely going to give PSA a try this year, and I think we all feel the same way. I've held out for quite some time over on some CGC submissions, and I want to. I'm one of those guys that like I have a kid brother. It was like okay, let's jump in the pool, but you're gonna jump first and then test the waters. And if it's not cold and stuff, like I'll hop in too. So I think that's gonna be kind of the same scenario when it comes to submitting books now for 2025. I'm gonna take a step back and see how everything unfolds with PSA, CGC, etc.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's. I mean, I don't want to say that's smart or the right thing to do because it's different for everybody. But personally, that's where I'm at this point with them.
Yeah, exactly. But guys, that was the show. That was the discussion, the hot topics. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself. Of course, we have the giveaway. Now, JD, sorry, JSS Brooklyn, I missed your comment. So I see you saying, please read my comment earlier. Let me know which one. If you could just copy it and then paste it. I think you said you're sending a PSA, an ASM 50 to PSA as a test run. So that's very interesting. That is a big book to be sending in as a test run to PSA. Man, I really wish you some high grades, because that is a grail book for myself, one that I wish to own. But Travis, it's time we do the giveaway. So shout out to everybody who is here in the chat tonight. 61 of you rocking. Make sure to hit the like button. Show some love to Michael Baker, who is donating these 2 books. Awesome Slabs, Ultimate Invasion #1, the second print. And of course, you have Spider-Man Ultimate Universe from Free Comic Book Day with the special label, which is going to have an increase in 2025. So there you go. You're going to get these free. One lucky winner is going to have the chance to win this. Now, Travis, I hate to put you on the spot, brother.
Okay. All right. That's all right.
I'm gonna make you pick the hashtag for this and for the chat. So give me just 1 second. I'm gonna pull up the giveaway tool right here. There you go. All right, I have it. I'm good to go. Tell me the hashtag, Travis.
Let's just keep it simple. Let's just call it Ultimates with an S. Ultimates.
Ultimates with an S. Start collecting the hashtags. Vamos. All right.
Shout out to Baker for this. This is a killer giveaway.
Absolutely. So I see some of the hashtags coming in. I'm going to put it up here as well for you guys so that nobody makes a mistake. Where do we go? Ultimates. Where are you? All right. Got it. So hashtag Ultimates. Boom. To win this giveaway. You know, Michael Baker hit me up. He's like, I think we're going to do a giveaway every month. I'm like, dude, you are on fire. I don't know how he manages to score so many books, especially in high grades. This guy's collection is absolutely insane. You know, he's a Spawn collector, so automatically the guy's got money.
Yeah, man. That's anytime you run across a Spawn collector, you know they're serious. I've never met a Spawn collector that didn't have more books than I do.
Yeah. So are you a big Spawn fan?
I like Spawn. I do, and it's one of those that I kind of come back to and read in trade format a lot, right? Or I try to read it in collected editions if I can. But yeah, so I have some of the I have the keys that everybody likes. You always get your Spawn 1 and your Spawn 9 and all those keys and everything. So I have those, but it's not something that I read regularly. But it's definitely a universe that's just so cool and so fun to read. I wanted to get into Gunslinger Spawn, and I kind of missed the boat, and then I was like, all right, I'll come back to it, and I've just never come back to it either. I always thought that was pretty cool.
Now hold on, you're talking what, the 174 there, like the first appearance?
Yeah.
So look, personally, Spawn is one of those things where I've been in and out, right? And like one of the books that just recently got me back, I know everybody's excited about the 360 and McFarlane's back, but Nick's now becoming the She Spawn, like Hell Spawn, whatever. It was just amazing. That was a great issue. I feel like I'm slacking because there's certain things that come up within issues where I'm like, but wait, I don't get it. I need to go back, right? So I think that's my problem, is coming into Spawn so late has been the big issue of trying to tie things together.
Yeah, same here. It was one of those that I got into later. I think I loved the movie when I was a kid. It was so cool to me back then, and it was one of those things like, so there's always been that kind of love for Spawn and the character and the universe and everything. But it's not something that I've kept up with actively, but I've always really been into and thought it was really cool.
Yeah. Well, I want to shout out the chat because Leftero's letting me know 701 subscribers as we speak. Thank you guys for the congratulations, but no, thank you guys for subscribing. I didn't announce this giveaway on social media. I said I wasn't going to promote it. I'm not here to reel in subscribers. It's just solely for giveaways. I really want you guys to come out, hang out, and just want to be here to talk comics, because that's pretty much what I want to do. Keep it a simple platform where we all get together. Want it to feel like we're at a fucking comic shop shooting the shit, man, or at a bar hanging out, because I always got to have my booze. Dude, you know what? I don't know if it's considered a drinking problem, but this doesn't last me past the fucking FOC portion of the show. I need to start stacking. I need
Yeah,
to start stacking.
100%. I literally burned out of the beer within like by the end of the FOC, and I was like, man, there's a bottle of whiskey down here, but I wasn't sure I was ready to crack into it
Yeah.
yet.
My dream is to be able to, hang out with all of you guys. Those of you in the chat, those of you catching the replay, maybe at a convention, man. I think we should all pick one convention and stick to it. Be like, guys, we're all meeting up at this one. Let's go, man. You know what I mean? Like that would be amazing. We did that for Terrificon last year, man. Amongst some of us who have never met.
Right.
We got group photos, man. We were like 40 people just hanging out, shooting the shit. It was great times. But man, that would be amazing. Now, all right, guys. Stop talking to me about my drinking problems. Let's get into the giveaway. Show some love again to Michael Baker. Thank you so much, Michael Baker, for donating these 2 awesome books. One lucky winner is going to walk away with this. We have 39 entries. I'm very surprised because we have 58 viewing right now. Some of you must be watching on your television, and I apologize to your families, your dog, and your cat for having to hear our voice for 2 hours. So I'm going to share the screen. Giveaway tool is ready to go. Do you guys see it? Are we good to go? Let me make it bigger. How's that look for you? Is it good? Travis?
It looks good to me.
It looks good. All right, guys, we're going to draw it. We're going to count it down. 3, 2, 1. Best of luck to everybody. Again, thank you so much, Michael Baker. One lucky winner is going to walk away with 2 slabs, CGC 98. And the winner is JD. Yes, congratulations, JD. That is amazing. But JD, that's not how we celebrate here. No, we got to give you a classic video. Congratulations.
$2 you win, Ali.
So there you go. Congratulations, JD. Thank you again, Michael Baker. Thank you to all of you who tuned in tonight. To those of you who have subscribed, the new subscribers, I appreciate you all. Nothing but love. Travis, let the people know where they can find you. There's a description in this video where there is a link that leads to your YouTube channel. Talk to the people.
I'm all over the place. You can find me over at Covrprice, writing on the Shaker Report. You can check out the Shaker Show on Thursdays, where they read all of our crazy entries, and that report drops on Fridays. You can also catch me on my YouTube channel, which is Trek Wars Comics. I'm on Instagram, TJ MILLSAPS, at Trek Wars Comics. Either one of those, you can reach out to me. I'm always down to have a chat. And sometimes you'll get some goofy memes every now and then from me. So, yeah.
There you go. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for coming by. Thank you, Brian McClay, for being here in the chat. Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Chiapet. Thank you, Lefteros. Thank you, Alex. JD, congratulations again. TKO, thank you all all of you who tuned in tonight. Just a reminder, like I said, the roll calls are going to slowly start to fade away. I'm going to be also taking this and turning it into some Spotify stuff as well. We're going to upload this show, not this particular episode, but every Sunday, we're going to go live, and then we're going to start uploading on Spotify as well. Start branching out to the podcast side, and maybe start doing some podcast episodes as well. So if ever you guys want to talk comics, you want to shoot the shit, you know where to find me, man. Hit me up on Instagram, Black Crown Comics. Let's just hang out, man. Let's bring some fucking love back to this hobby, man. No, none of that other shit, man. Let's just shoot the shit. Let's hang out, bro. All right? Have yourselves a great week, guys. I will be on Covrprice this Tuesday talking the top 10 comics, which I'm pretty sure, Travis, I'm calling it now. I haven't seen the list, bro. I'm calling the Marvel Rivals. I'm calling some fucking Malice. Who knows what's going to pop up over there?
I'm sure, and I would probably guarantee you're going to have a Mark Spears book somewhere.
Yeah, and magically Spawn 1 is going to be there.
Always. It's a 2-week tradition.
Yeah. But all right, guys. Have yourselves a great week. I'll catch you next Sunday as well. Peace.